Hi! If you're copying and pasting figures between sheets and then updating them manually every time the data changes, there's an easier way. In this video, I'll show you how to reference data directly from another sheet so everything updates automatically. Starting with the basics, then looking at a situation that catches a lot of people out when copying a formula down a column. Before getting into the examples, it's worth knowing the format Excel uses when referencing cells. It's always sheet name, exclamation mark, cell reference. So to reference a cell on B2 on a sheet called sales, it will appear as sales exclamation mark B2. If the sheet name has spaces, such as for the tab Targets 2026, Excel wraps the sheet reference in single quotes automatically. Here I have a sales sheet with the Q1 sales figures for January, February and March, a targets sheet with a Q1 target for each product, and a summary sheet where I would like to bring the figures all together. So first, the Q1 total. On the summary sheet, in the cell where I would like the total, I type equals, then sum, as I'm looking to add the figures together, open bracket. Then instead of selecting a range on this sheet, I click on the Sales tab and select the January, February and March figures. Close my bracket and press return. Excel builds the reference automatically and my Q1 total appears on the summary sheet. Because it's a live reference, if any of the figures on the sales sheet changes, for example, if I change the notebooks figure up by 80 to 500 and go across to the summary page, my total is now 1470, whereas previously it was 1390. Now let's bring in the target and compare that to the total. In my summary page, in my Q1 target cell, I type in equals, then go to my targets tab and select the relevant product, which is notebooks, and press enter. And that pulls the Q1 target onto my summary sheet. This time I'm only linking to one cell, so there is only one cell reference. Then to calculate the difference between the actual and the target figures, all I need to do is in the variance column do equals, click on cell B2 and minus that from the target, and that provides my difference. Now I don't have to sit and do this linking for all the products. Because they follow a similar format, all I need to do is click in one of the cells, then double click the little green box on the right hand side, and the formula fills down the row for me. I can do the same for each column. This gives me a live summary that updates automatically whenever the figures on the sales sheet or the target sheet changes. One quick note, if you're linking to a cell that's inside a table, for example here I have a tab called Targets Table. My targets are in a table. When I do equals and link to the relevant cell, you can see that the reference looks a bit different. It's referencing the table name in column instead of the sheet name. It works in the same way, it just looks different. I've got a separate video why sometimes you get the table reference and other times the sheet reference, so I won't go into that here. In this next example is something I see catch people out regularly. Say I have a discount rate in a cell on one sheet called Settings, and I want to apply that rate to a column of prices on another sheet. Here I've called it Prices. I go to the prices sheet and in the cell I write equals, then my price, which is in B2, an asterisk for multiplication. Then I go across to my settings and click on my discount value. And my discounted price appears. So far, so good. But if this was all I did and I copied the discount down the column, the reference to the discount rate cell will shift with each row, which is not what I want. I always want to reference cell B2 on the Settings tab. The fix is what's referred to as absolute referencing. Before pressing enter, I click on the part of that formula that references the discount rate cell, so here B2, and then press F4. This adds dollar signs around the reference, and that's effectively locking that value into place. So now, when I copy the formula down the column, the price cell reference moves with each row as expected, but the discount rate reference stays locked on the same cell. Every row now uses the correct rate. If you're working across different workbooks entirely rather than different sheets in the same workbook, referencing works in a similar way. But there are a few extra things to watch out for around file paths and broken links, and that's the topic for a separate video. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like, have a look at the other Excel videos on the channel, and subscribe for more Excel tips. Thanks for watching.